Hare Krishna. Good morning or evening, wherever you are, stalwarts. Thank you for joining Japa Jolt. I think I'm 30 seconds early. Good to see Aksharnitai, Tulsi, Yogadish, Ram, Hare Krishna, Avanish, Dinal's here, Amodavardhana, and the Berkeley gang. Hare Krishna. Radhe, welcome. So if you'd like to predict your future, and who wouldn't? People are always looking for ways to predict their future. I have a simple way that you can do it. Would you like to try it? Okay. Just try putting out your tongue a little bit and notice which way the tip of your tongue is pointing. Just for a second, try humor me. Work with me, people. There you go. Whichever way your tip of your tongue, it's a pointer. Whichever way that's pointed, that's where you're going. And this is the admonition of the Shastra. Atashi Krishnamavi Nabhavid Grayam Indriye Sevam Bhugihi Jivado Swayameva Svratyada. Whichever way you point your tongue, and just notice that the tip of your tongue is your pointer. And if you point it up, you're going to go up. If you point it down, you're going to go down. And of course, figuratively, it's how you use the tip of your tongue that is going to determine your future. So you can predict it by engaging your tongue properly. And the next concept is one that helps relieve all anxiety, because there's an anxiety created by what's called the paradox of choice. There was a book written about it, some scientific studies, and the psychological effects of having too many choices. And Krishna talks about it in the Bhagavad-gītā when he says, vyavasāyātmikā buddhir ekeha kuru-nandana, Bahu-śākhā anantāś buddhayo vyavasāyinām. When you think that you have many choices calling to you, then your mind becomes confused and you're pulled in many directions. Bahu-śākhā, unlimited directions. But when you can come to a resolution that there's one solution, one choice, then your mind becomes peaceful. And this is the prescription given by all the great ācāryas, that there's a one-stop shopping. There's one product that will solve all your problems and achieve all your ambitions, goals, desires. It has all the solutions within it. That's the Mahāmantra. So you can start there. And you'll always win with the basics. Every discipline you perform has the 20% activities that bring the 80% result. Well, with the chanting the Mahāmantra, it's the one basic that everybody agrees on. This is the most important. A quote from the motivational speaker Jim Rohn said, "There's no shortage of opportunity. There is only a shortage of those who will apply themselves to the basics that success requires." One more time. There's no shortage of opportunity. There is only a shortage of those who will apply themselves to the basics that success requires. And finally, it's documented that there's more success in curing any kind of ailment when one consults the expert versus self-diagnosis and self-treatment, self-medication. So the prescribed method for overcoming any of the ills that are caused by one's association with the material nature, etan nirvidyamananam ichatam akatobhayam Yoginam nripanirnitam harinam. Shukadeva Goswami says this, and he's speaking on behalf of all the sages before him. And he says there's one thing that we're prescribing, all of us, and we all agree on it. It's that the chanting of the holy name is perfect for everybody, and it doesn't matter which section of the world you were born into. So we have the opportunity, and you all are taking advantage of it. That's why you're here early in the morning or late in the morning or wherever you may be, and chanting the holy names. And japa is especially important because this is the one activity where we're self-motivated. Nobody else can fly in and make you do this. You have to decide yourself that I'm going to take the medicine and I'm going to be meticulous about it. And the result will be advancement, step by step, Prabhupada says, from the neophyte stage to the perfect stage called Uttama Adhikari, and it all comes from this adherence to the basic principle of chanting japa. Any comments from anyone, reflection from anything I said before we start? I'll count down from 5 and then I'm going to start calling on people. 5, 4. Okay, Avanish.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I was just thinking about how you were just saying that we have a choice whether or not we want to do it. Nobody can force us. But I was just thinking about how amazing this ISKCON movement is, in that there's this Japa group here, and you can just click a link and type in, a very short passcode and immediately enter, such a beautiful association of devotees and really try to advance yourself. So I just thought I'd share that.
Yeah, I like the phrase, click a link. Because one of my very senior godbrothers told me recently, when I was in New York, he looked at me and said, crack a book. And we could say, click a link. It's that far away from entering into a portal where we have spiritual sound vibration. 2 more by voluntary submission, or I'm going to count down from 5 and start calling on people. 5, 4, 3. Okay, Manya.
Hare Krishna. I was reflecting on what you said, that you always win with the basics. And that was really comforting to me, because sometimes the process can feel almost complicated. There's so many things and so many books I want to read, and this and that, and there's a process. But just knowing that this is a practice I can come back to, and it's more simpler to do. So it was nice to hear
It
that.
is a very nice point. And well, I was recently in Mayapur. I had 2 days that I felt that I had off. It turned out I was supposed to be somewhere else, but since I didn't know that, I felt completely relieved, at least for 2 days. And all I did was just chant all day. I had a quiet place and I just chanted. And I at first thought, oh, there's so many things I have to do. But then I realized everything's there complete within the holy name. And I can't do any of the things that I want to do anyway, unless I have Nam Bala, strength of the holy name. Otherwise, I just think about things and I never do them unless I have the strength of the holy name. Last one. Calling for volunteers or counting down from 5, 4, 3. Shrikar. Hare Krishna.
In Shishtashkam verse 2, it says, Nam Namakari Bahudani Jasarva Shaktis. There's no Tatrapita Nimadahasmayanaka. There's no hard and fast rules to chanting. But despite this, I still don't have any attachment for chanting. And it's very difficult to develop attachment, and it's very difficult to cry for Krishna. But it doesn't matter, because Krishna doesn't care, because Krishna puts way more steps forward, even if we keep 1 step forward for him.
Thank you so much, Shrikar. What a beautiful verse you introduced to the assembly today from the lotus mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All of the Lord's potencies are there within his holy names, and we have access to them. Okay, so let's try chanting. And just remember the first point. Whichever way you're pointing the tip of your tongue, that's where you're going. And just know that if you're chanting Hare Krishna, everything, Krishna will take care of everything. Ananyas chantayanto mam, ye jana paripasate tesham nityabdyutanam, yogakshemam bahamyam. Don't worry about a thing, just chant. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhara, Shivasari, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. There's a great epidemic of anxiety in the world. That's a clinically proven fact. And Bhagavatam says it's because of absorption in various options for material comfort. Just being overwhelmed by the material energy. And the solution is to rise above the influence of the material energy. And the only way to do that is to turn one's attention to Krishna. And the way to do that, according to the Bhagavatam, is to embrace the order of the spiritual master that comes down from Krishna. So Shrikar Prabhu is saying, okay, chanting, but what about taste? We can also have a taste for understanding the importance of chanting and then following the instruction and knowing that that's Krishna's will and it's connecting us. And that's very powerful because we're connected to the power source. And so if we study the science of Krishna consciousness and understand the different categories of energy, material nature is insurmountable. It's full of options for material enjoyment, and all of those are endlessly disappointing because they never come to any point in which we become satisfied by embracing them. But chanting the holy name, everything's available because we're pointing our attention towards Krishna. Okay, few comments, realizations, questions, complaints. You want your money back from today's session. Okay, I'm going to count down from 5. Okay, Akshara, Nitai, Tulsi, and Amoda Varda. Does Amoda have his hand up? No, he just have. Oh, yes. Okay, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Today I was reflecting on the fact that when we're chanting, it's the one person we don't have to hide anything from. Everything else that we do, there's a way in which we only reveal a certain side of ourselves. But when we're chanting, it's only us and Krishna. And recognizing that he's been there all along, it's kind of impossible to hide from him. So when I feel like I'm laying myself open to somebody who already knows everything about me, I feel like I'm a bit more present when I'm chanting.
Fantastic, Akshara Nitai. Thank you so much. I found that very helpful. Tulsi.
Hare Krishna Gurudev. So 2 weeks ago, I went on a walk with my cousin to a local park. I hadn't actually been to that park in at least a decade. My cousin recently moved, or not recently, but he moved from LA, so he's been exploring the town a bit more. And I was thinking that it was just so nice to go on a walk and specifically explore the part of my neighborhood that, they call it the backyard, but you just never explore your own backyard sometimes because you're so familiar with it. So I was thinking about how some of us who grew up in Krishna consciousness or who've been practicing or have at least been exposed to it for quite a while, we get so familiar with it that it feels like our backyard and we don't really take the opportunity to really dive deep and take the time to explore. So I think it's a worthwhile thing to do. Is sometimes you actually find so much joy in just going out and looking at Krishna consciousness from a new perspective. So I found that to be a really eye-opening experience for me.
Pretty good, Tulsi. That was really good. Thank you very much. Amodavardhana. Keep doing that. We can read lips. We just have to focus a little more.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hare Krishna, sorry. So I was speaking with a devotee last night about sadhana versus service, because there's these two things which seem to be always emphasized. And he provided a really nice analogy, which was my meditation for today. And he said that service is like cutting vegetables and putting them into a pot, whereas your sadhana and your chanting are like the flame under the pot. And how if we do not have correct sadhana, it's like just having vegetables in a pot with the candle underneath. It doesn't do much. So today my motivation was to try and have sufficient flame in my chanting such that I can cook bhoga and offer to Krishna. And I found that to be a visualization that helped me.
You guys, this is so poetical today. Thank you very much. Really good stuff. I hope somebody's here to save the comments that we're making these notes, because I don't see that anybody's here to do that yet. Rinal, good to see you. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. I was just reflecting on something that you said at the start of the call, how when you had those 2 days in Mayapur, you're just thinking, I have so many other things I could be doing, but I'm just doing japa. And this tends to be the case when we sit down to chant. We always think that we have like so many other productive things that we could be doing. But yeah, I guess I was just reflecting on the fact that unless we purify ourselves, then nothing else is possible. So our other services, our other commitments, and anything else. So like you said, like the strength is in the holy name. So it was kind of just bringing my mind back to this.
Yeah, it's really helpful. And really that is the clear understanding of sadhana. That Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Suridhanashoy Krishna Bhakti Koila Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. That it's a growing sense that the main thing that I have to do is think of Krishna, serve Krishna. And by doing that, everything else is done properly. And if I forget that and I do everything else, it's just a jumble of activities. And it's all been done and more, and it's inconsequential. So yeah, having that fortification of our intelligence that this is the main thing to do. That's why it's important to read Bhagavad-gītā and study Srimad Bhagavatam and chant Hare Krishna every day. And just catch a flyer. You got a human life. You got already good association. And if you can organize your life so that this lifetime you can put together one whole lifetime without getting off the track, you just go straight back to Godhead. What to speak of, even in this life, you'll become highly consequential because of your existence on this planet, because you've given your full attention to devotional service, even as you do everything else you're doing, because you can't stop doing those things either. So I'm deeply grateful for all of you joining the Japa Jolt today. Please keep the transcendental vibration going. Try to put together a full day of thinking of the holy names and keep the transcendental vibration going. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Haridas Thakur, Siddhabakul, if you so desire, please bless everyone who joined Japa Jolt today, everyone who thought about joining Japa Jolt today, everyone who accidentally slept through Japa Jolt today, those who heard about Japa Jolt and are afraid to join, that they may always have courage to point their tongue towards what they really want in life, and that is you, dear Lord Krishna, in your holy name. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Thank you, everybody. Gaur Premanande Hari Bol. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in parts. Please unmute and say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpurusha. Kripa Sindhave Vachapatitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavini Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Prabhu Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Bol.